and that makes it the best name to pronounce. So, first map going over to SOA. They choose the map choices given to them, and they take the Infernal Shrine. Still a pretty spectacular map for SPT. 85.7% win rate, 6-1. 60% win rate for SOA, though, 3-2.
Yeah, speaking of single-letter nicknames, by the way, big shout-out to Jayhow, our dear colleague and friend from the caster desk. He basically did what I had been expecting and anticipating the entire mid-season brawl. When the old Easter played, he brought, you know, the X gonna give it to you joke. That was, I had just been waiting for it to happen.
Did you see my tweet? I made up basically a full verse for it.
I did not. Actually, you're going to have to send me that and copy paste it.
I'll fish it out. I'll fish it out later. Either way, we are entering into the draft. And Dahaka, ignored for like the first couple days, is back with a vengeance today, getting first banned again by Super Perfect Team.
And I can't really blame the Chinese teams for just getting Dahaka out of the way, because whenever he's part of a draft or part of game in general, he just creates so much confusion, and he creates so much just annoying features you have to pay attention to. You can always, like, you can never be sure, is he going to join the fray or not? Is he going to pop up behind us from a flank, or is he going to keep applying pressure on the side fence? It's just so difficult sometimes, also from a mental point of view, to play against Dahaka, because it really messes with your battle plans, with your macro plans.
Really does. So, both of these teams picking very solid assassins. Valor not entering into the ban phase, as she has been way more often these days. And it's going to be the Uther Ariel. Wow, that is a good setup for supports, limiting the options of SOA before SOA can even get a chance to pick.
Okay, here's what I want to see. SOA, they can ban whatever they want to. I don't really care about that. But SPT, they need to ban the Malthael, because if they allow it through, they allow one of the strongest anti-healing mechanics in the game, with the Touch of Death at level 7 and, of course, the Tormented Souls at level 10. We saw it yesterday. We've seen it on the weekend, how strong this AoE anti-healing mechanic can become, especially against a double healing comp like SPT. If there were a Tassadar in the mix, maybe not that big of a deal, because shields don't get affected by those anti-healing mechanics. But Uther Oriel, I just don't want to see it.
Yeah, Uther Oriel, it's a good combo. Like, there's the reason it's picked so often, because it just straight up works. But as these early picks, I agree with you, it's a little bit
Okay, the Sonya ban, I like it. You know, you do have interrupts in a Nuremberg already, but still, it's a very annoying here to deal with, and especially SPT has shown times and times again that they know how to utilize her to great effect, especially with the double support. Sonya becomes nigh unkillable.
Does indeed. So, we have, with Sonya banned out, Malthael still so far unattended.
It needs to be a Malthael here.
Way in.
I mean, are there any other heroes that they might be afraid of? Maybe an Abathur, because of the Greyman copies?
Ooh. That's good. I like that. But it's got to be Malthael, because double support, healing reduction. Surely, like, it's the counter.
Also, with Dahaka and Sonya out of the game, there's not really a whole lot of soul laners left that can best Malthael in that solo lane, right? Maybe Leoric, maybe Artanas, but
I guess that's fine.
That's about it. Okay, the Cassia is also a strong pick here. It would be a strong pick for SOA, right? Because, once again, if you go for those Vala comms with a double support, the only, or the major DPS source is physical, right? Despite Vala having a couple of abilities, most of her damage comes from auto attacks. So the Cassia, out of the way with the blinds and such, yada yada yada, is pretty solid. But it needs to be a Malthael pick now.
You say the damage comes from auto attacks. She does do a crazy amount of auto attack damage, but the fact is, blinding Valor also mitigates her hatred gaining. So if you can make her lose all that hatred, then punishment gains less value, the multi-shot talent, which means that you're not only crippling the auto attacks, you are crippling the multi-shot build as well, as long as you can keep her hatred low. And this is the main logical idea behind blinds against Valor.
By the way, to answer a question from Joris in the chat, there is no stream really going on for us here. So you guys are not really delayed by 2 minutes or so. However, the clean fit, of course, is delayed to the original tournament. So none of the players can actually gain an advantage by watching our stream, right? But
there's also the obviously sending to Twitch and then sending to you delay, but that's seconds at max.
So, the Malthael has been chosen, and I'm glad that they did not make us look like fools by, you know, dreaming about Malthaels and telling everyone how great he was in that specific setup, but he's actually being chosen, and I like it.
He's only been picked twice, as you can see. He's been banned 3 times, picked twice, 1 win and 1 loss.
Wait, what?
Zool, he's not even changed yet.
No.
Welcome back, Zool.
Okay, baby.
This is not the PTR. To be clear, everyone, this is the live server, and we see the return of Zool. Now, how will Zool... Is Zool the key that we've been looking for? 0 zeros across the board for Zool.
Tetra, get your checklist out. There. Get it out. Cross the Zool off your list.
Yeah, it's not on the list. Oh, well, thank you very much. I will cross it off. Thank you, SPT. You are the list destroyers, and you always have been. But, wow, I'm trying to think, what will Zool give against Malthael that another hero wouldn't? What is the key there?
So here's the thing. I think when you pick a Zool on Battlefield of Infernal Shrines, the way you want to play it is you want to have a strong 4-man lane right off the get-go, at the very latest when the first Shrine phase is about to commence. Then you apply so much pressure with that 4-man lane. You stall the enemy team for as long as possible while Zool does the infamous double soaking, spawning skeletons, draining ammo from the enemy towers and pushing them in quite heavily, having an exceptional amount of wave clear. And you do that until you have established your team with a nice XP lead. There is no hero on the side of SOA that can match his wave clear speed. Maybe KT, but he's going to have to invest way more mana than Zool. So this is definitely their battle plan. They want to out XP farm their opponents. However, Tetra, I love what SOA brought to the table here. The Malthael, the KT against such a melee heavy comp. I am very scared and very worried if it weren't SPT.
And my list gets smaller. There's a couple things on this list that are actually played in mid-season Brawl, but not in HGC China, so I'm not counting them.
Yeah.
So either way, the list gets smaller. Zool coming in. First time it has been picked in HGC China. It's pre-Zool rework, which I would consider to be a huge buff. Good lord, he looks strong.
Yeah. I have received reports of community members that were playing a full W build Zool, for example, because some of his talents were changed and new talents were introduced, and they told me the craziest stories. He's actually a force to be reckoned with on the PTR right now.
And as I record, hopefully I can do this before the game starts. What is still on the list? Carried Ultralisk, Ready Destruction, Gul'dan, Longboat Raid, Tracer in general, Butcher Furnace Blast, Guillotine, Midi Polybomb, Pyro Blast, Lucio Reverse Sam, Minion Asmodan, Shadow Assault, Null Gates, Lava Wave, Monstrosity, Possession, Graviton Surge, and Rexar.
Nailed it. Let's get hyped, everybody, for Zool's first appearance here in HGC China. And Tetra, do us the honor and introduce SPT's Zool composition.
I would love to, Kendrick. So, spawning on the left-hand side, it is Super Perfect Team, with Zhen Zhao playing on the Valor, Merly C on the Uther, Misaka on Arthur's, Wings on the Zool, and their support player, whose name I forgot, sorry, and the last player is playing on the Ariel, and I can't remember who it is.
No problem. We have Faye here for SOA, their opponents. Uncle G on Malthael, Tank Ovo, my favorite player on KT, Spark BZ on the tank on the Anubarak. And, whoa! That's going to be quite the game here that we've got on our hands here, guys. Zool for the very first time. I am excited to see what kind of talent build he's going to go for. He goes for the aggressive bone armor. He goes for the damage when it expires or it gets popped down. So that actually deals percentage damage. I think it's 25% of the target.
10%.
Or is it 10? Okay, maybe. Okay, my bad. I haven't seen that talent in quite some time. 25 might have been a little bit too much anyway, so 10%.
First blood going over to SPT. Right. Second blood going over to SPT as they take down Greymane. Zool able to move in and get that good percentage damage.
So the thing is, You don't normally play against Zul. So maybe some teams were underestimating the power of the Bone Prison, which is one of the most reliable crowd control effects in the enemy, or in the game even. So not only is it good in terms of locking down people, but it also makes it super clear to your allies which target is supposed to be focused, because you have that strong visual indicator. Now, so once again, getting slapped against the wall. Shy is about to fall, and Greyman is no more. SPT is turning it up, and if I had my 360 MLG horns here, I would ring him like crazy.
That is 2 kills on Greymane in less than 1 minute. Good lord, Greymane is going to have a rough game if someone has anything to say about it. Now they're looking for Uncle G as well. It is Malthael, but he doesn't have the majority of the talents he needs, and he gets taken out.
Now, can they get the retaliation here in the bottom lane against Zul? The Burrow Charge comes in, but Bone Armor was used until the very last second here. Great save by SPT's Zul player, and fantastic rotations all across the board by SPT as a whole. And SOA, they're actually crumbling against that early pressure that SPT's putting up. This is crazy.
This is a great performance by SPT to start. They hit level 4 first. Not too far ahead, so will creep their way up. Zul going for Tragul's Essence, so he is in fact going for a bit more of a split push build, getting in all those skeletons.
Absolutely. If you go Tragul's Essence at level 4, you normally want to go for Ratma's Blessing at level 7. And whenever you go for that split push strategy, the skeletons are going to provide you with enough mana and health to keep on going. Now, SOA, everyone is getting slowed by the Arthas. Misaka is turning on the heat, and 1 and 2 fall to that Bone Armor percentage damage. Tetcher, what is going on here?
Turns out Zul is good on maps that aren't Black Heart's Bay, as SPT dominant performance, 7 kills in 2.5 minutes. They are going for the first Punisher.
Okay, can we just talk about the outstanding synergy between Arthas and Zul here? Arthas slowing multiple members at the same time, making it so hard for them to escape the explosion damage from Zul's trade, which deals, as we elaborated earlier, 10% max HP damage. And against heroes like Anubarak and Greymane, that is actually a quite substantial amount, even in the early stages of the game. So, really, really well played by SPT. I just can't believe what my eyes are just showing me.
They basically can't auto-attack ever because they get the attack speed slow from Arthas, they get the attack speed slow from Zul's W, they're just constantly taking AoE damage where only Kael'thas can really respond. They're just in so much trouble with a little bit of Malthael, a little bit of Greymane, but their comp in general is so crippled. And the fact is, Zul can in theory make this worse if he wants to. At level 13, he could in theory take Giant's Curse and do even more percentage damage.
That is very much a possibility. I don't think we need to go full skeleton build. So, you know, the Corpse Explosion and
Skeletal Mastery.
Skeletal Mastery, we might not really have to get all those talents necessarily, because as Touch pointed out, I think KT's going to die. And Rip Stacks, I didn't even touch upon it, but KT went for the Flame Strike stacks. So Convection already being reset, and that is one of the most important mechanics for SOA here, if they want to stabilize and get the retaliation damage done against that Arthas Zul combo. So,
he also went for Mana Tap, so he was going for just a stay in lane and sustain style. Unfortunately, he doesn't need to get mana regen if he dies, because he gets it all back when he respawns.
Now, boys and girls at home, if you ever play KT and you go Convection, you don't want to be the guy who tanks the Punisher over the wall. Never. Ever. Don't do it.
Yeah, just, it's generally a bit of a bad idea. You don't want to lose those stacks. It's the same reason as, if you're Medivh, you really don't want to run at the enemy team. Well, actually, Medivhs don't really care either way. Wings getting chased down, dodging the gravity lag, turning it round, wanted to go onto Faily, but changed his mind. Didn't want to give Kael'thas satisfaction of being able to turn around the maneuvers nearby.
Can we just highlight the hero versatility of Melody C? Yesterday, he made us rejoice on the Genji, and now he plays the Uther. Two completely opposite roles, and yet he all makes them work like a charm. Melody C easily becomes my most, insanely admired player in the entire HGC China.
Yeah, he is so good, and just super perfect team right now.
Oh
just
boy,
looking so synergistic. Everyone is doing their roles. Wings, he was the person who played a Twin Blades variant for them as well. They just have so much versatility on their team. They can just pick anything because it works, not because it's meta. And that is what's so scary about Super Perfect Team. There's so... I don't know, I hesitate to use the word enlightened about hero compositions and about drafting in general. Just willing to try different things just because it will work.
And it's not like, you know, we can really see it as a disrespect move towards SOA, because SPT, I will call them professional enough to take every game seriously, especially with their now refreshed claim to become the #1 team in China. And as such, you can really tell that they worked on this draft. They had a strategy and idea behind it. And so far, it just worked like a charm. The Arthur synergy with Zul has been absolutely crushing SOA. The strong rotations resulting in those really, really solid. And guess what? It only gets worse. Uncle G is completely oblivious that Misaka and Melody C are nearby.
He is ignored, though, as it is Tank Ovo who is the focus. No. Remove the stacks is the objective, as Melody C tries to chase in, but he can't get to him. Uncle G with the good body blocks, saving his ally here. Yeah,
really nice body blocks from Uncle G, really. And you know what? I'm actually fine with SOA giving up this camp, because it's way more important to preserve the stacks on KT's convection rather than getting an Impaler camp, which admittedly is probably not going to get a lot done in the first place. Now, Curse Bullet on Wings on the Zul here takes a little bit of damage, but zoned out Shy is here by all those Skeletal Mages. Wow.
One left. It gets... wow, Malthael killed those off pretty quickly, but Greymane still falls. Melody C having to drop the Divine Shield on him due to the rotation, though. Very nice rotation from SOA, baiting out that ability. Meantime, though, Punisher's kind of winning top, because there's no one here. It's like... like top lane's just been abandoned. They've been trying to deal with, like, trying to kill Zul or kill Uther, but Zuzan and CCH are just winning the game. Like, someone should deal with this.
Yeah, and if you let that Purple Peter push against your tower line and the keep, you're gonna regret that choice very, very soon, because the Arcane turns here on the floor, on the ground, they're dealing so much damage on a consistent basis here. The triple stun coming in here against SOA as well, and they are...
They are... SPT are just so good, dude. As the keep will survive here, there was finally a rotation to protect it, but that took way more damage than it probably needed to. Yeah. Now SOA looking for a fight to prevent any kind of re-engage. Misaka getting dropped low thanks to that cursed bullet, but he's keeping himself alive. Tormented Souls coming in from Malthael, trying to do the maximum damage he can, but having to teleport out as Tormented Souls does not last very long. Arthur's once again engaged for by Shy, who has to disengage. SOA going back in, and Nubrak having to be cleansed, and these teams back and forth all the way. Neither team able to finish anyone off.
That was actually a very cool team fight on the side of SOA. Despite being a talent down, they do not back off. They keep going for a fight. The power of Malthael was apparent here. The Ancestral Lay landing in the very last second here, and Shy is about to fall.
They're trying to get to Shy, but he's being protected. Finally, the root lands. Disengage. He gets out. Never mind. Finally finished off. I think that was the Holy Shock to finish him off there. Yeah. And we also saw Malthael finally finished off a crazy back and forth fight, but with a talent advantage and 3-level lead, sorry, in favor of SPT. They're able to take 2 kills and the keep.
I gotta say though, if SOA had been on 13 without a talent disadvantage, I think they could have maybe swung around the fight. Despite them being 2 levels down, they fought very valiantly here. They almost had the Arthas who dropped solo. The Cocoon was good. The Malthael effect in that fight was very, very good as well. It was just so close to not being enough though. And I gotta also say the KT is just such a nice pick normally against the Oriole, because when you spread the bombs, you basically punish people who try to clump up in order to get the Oriole healing, right? So I really like the anti-bomb mechanic here to really cause a couple of issues for Oriole. Now, that's a sad Cocoon, not getting anything done.
Everyone was coming in. They were prepared to rotate onto it, but SPT rotated quicker. Gotta protect that person in the Cocoon. As SPT begin work onto this shrine after shredding through this, Zul, he is full skeleton builds, Corpse Explosion coming in at level 13. Xin Zhao dodging the secondary knockup, and this is consistent. He gets knocked up by the Burrow Charge and then somehow consistently dodges the spikes by vaulting away. It's beautiful every time.
Yeah, that is of course also the power of Uther when he ends up playing against strong stunners like the Anubarak. If you time your heals wisely, you're gonna proc that Guardian of the Ancient Kings, combine that with a Divine Shield, Crystal Aegis, strong AoE healing from Oriel in the first place, and it's gonna be nigh impossible to kill the selected target. So, despite SOA having so much single target burst with the Curse Bullet, the KT burst, the Cocoon, the Malthael, it is so hard for them to get anything done here. And SPT, they're not, they're not wasting any time. They just keep on pushing the pedal to the metal, and with that Punisher, they're gonna try to get another keep in the bottom lane.
Yeah, they won't stop pushing. They're finding their own way through it. Jumping in with the Punisher. That was a cleanse onto Anubarak, keeping him alive for now. Rhaegar very far forward. Uther not able to land the stun to isolate him so that they could try and get the kill. Zul rotating back in from the mid lane as he was tempted to double push, but realizes he can't do so.
Down.
But also with the Punisher getting focused down so deep, a nice pullback by SOA, it becomes a little bit harder for SPT to push in here.
And let's not forget about a potential power spike for SOA to hit at level 16 when KT gets those double flame strikes because of Fury of the Sunwell. This could actually be an insanely strong AoE damage tool they need against the likes of Oriel and Uther. So if only they can hold a little bit longer, if only they can defend those keeps a little bit longer, they could really use that level 16. But for now, SPT is not letting go. They wait patiently for the next minion wave to arrive. They keep healing everyone up with Oriel and Uther. And look at Oriel, full energy all the time.
Root being dropped
full
on
energy
Malthael there, and like you said, full energy. Xin Zhao just gaining so much energy for Ariel here. There's the heal, and it's just ticking back up again. Keep gets taken down. 2 keeps down at 12 minutes 20, and SOA just like, yeah, no, head top and start dealing with the catapults.
Yeah. Get as much XP as you possibly can, defend all the lanes at the same time. You don't want to get pushed in by catapults when you're fighting, or at least trying to contest a shrine area, which is going to be highly unlikely unless they hit level 16 for SOA, but they still need to deep-push and shove all those lanes. Now, Flame Strike hits. I wonder if Convection has been completed yet. We haven't seen a notification, so I would assume that he still needs a little bit more time, tank over that is. So that's also another reason for SOA. There we go. We see the blue and purple shimmer, and now the Flame Strikes are starting to hurt a lot more.
Indeed, they are now. Kael'thas has a little bit more freedom in terms of positioning. Obviously, he still doesn't want to die, but now he doesn't have to protect himself as much. But he's getting focused down, turns it round instantly. The Cocoon is dropped and Arthur shreds it. Malthael going in, getting those tormented souls on everyone. Doing so much, but Uncle G focused down. Final hit from Valor. Down he goes, and Misaka just being a perfect distraction, locking that Rhaegar. That's another kill. And they're going to be able to move in. Zul setting himself up for level 20 with his level 16 talent, the Flowing Wounds, but he does not even need it, as this is going to be GG, and SPT will take game number 1.
Quan Zhao for SPT on the Valor was like, pew pew, just going to shoot down that Greymane with a strong W build and the Hungering Arrow to seal the deal here. Another target goes down, and Anubarak is taken out here, and SPT with that unkillable double support comp with Xing Zhao on the Valor just dealing so much damage that Oriel had never to worry about her hopes gain. So man, that was a perfect demonstration of how to execute that strong hyper carry double support strategy, and it was just a bliss, an absolute pleasure to watch SPT once again underlining why they are one of the strongest teams in the region. And SOA, I gave them the benefit of the doubt. I really want them to be able to take one map, but if they continue like this, they're not going to be able to do it.